So, have you ever wondered why AWS keeps winning? Like, why is Amazon's cloud bigger than Microsoft's Azure and Google's barely noticeable cloud service? Well, it comes down to three things. They got there first, giving them the first mover's advantage. They are cheaper, sometimes, and switching away is so painful that most companies just don't bother. Now, Amazon's entire business might look like an online shopping empire, but in reality, AWS is the real cash cow. A lot of Amazon's revenue comes from AWS. Amazon's core retail business, which are warehouses, shipping, and even Prime memberships, don't make nearly as much profit as AWS does. Mostly because retail is expensive. Warehouses, delivery trucks, and logistics cost a fortune. Even though Amazon sells billions of products, the profit margins on retail are very thin, and Prime memberships are underpriced. Amazon keeps Prime cheap to hook customers into the ecosystem, but it's not a major profit driver compared to AWS. Because AWS runs on software and data centers with way higher margins. Once a company moves to AWS, Amazon makes recurring revenue without needing to store, ship, or restock anything. That's why AWS alone generates a huge chunk of Amazon's total profit. Now, let's talk about Azure and Google Cloud. Microsoft's Azure is technically second place, but it's been told they do something sneaky, where they bundle in Microsoft 365 sales to make their numbers look bigger. In reality, AWS is way ahead, and Google Cloud, it's a distant third in this competition. Google is amazing at building cutting-edge tech like TPUs for AI, which are special chips built for AI and machine learning, used in services like Google Search and Google Photos. And Google also builds amazing chips that power YouTube's insane amount of video processing and streaming. But here's the thing, they build those tools for themselves, not their customers. Their cloud service is more of an afterthought. Meanwhile, AWS, they have been customer obsessed from the start. In the early days, they had go around handing out free credits to startups just to get them on board. And now, some of those same startups have turned into multi-billion-dollar companies, and they are still running on AWS. Here's the real reason why AWS keeps winning. It's too hard to leave. Moving from one cloud provider to another is like switching Wi-Fi routers. It's expensive, takes forever, and sometimes isn't even worth it. AWS charges massive data transfer fees if you try to move data out. Plus, most companies build their apps around AWS specific services. Once you go all in, trying to move is like untangling a mess of Christmas lights. Except the lights are on fire. And the crazy part is, AWS's interface is known to be terrible. It's clunky, outdated, and makes you question your life choices. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because everyone is already logged in. If you've ever heard of Snowflake, it's a massive cloud data company that runs almost entirely on AWS. Why? Because back when Snowflake was just a startup, AWS was the easiest option to get started. And once you're in, you don't leave. Now AWS and Snowflake have huge partnerships, and Amazon gets a cut of everything they do. This is pretty much how AWS keeps winning, by growing with its customers. A tiny startup today could be $1 billion AWS customer tomorrow. If you found this video insightful, drop a like and subscribe for more.